Apparently, palace officials have been trying their hardest to strip Harry of his titles.
They say if you turn your back on the crown, chase fame, and drag royal traditions through the mud, you shouldn't be shocked when the crown jewels start slipping away. The royal title isn't just some shiny badge. It stands for loyalty, duty, and respect. And according to Parliament, Prince Harry seems to have crossed every single one of those lines, sparking chaos and disbelief across the palace. Insiders whisper that royal officials have been quietly working to remove Harry's titles for good, and this time it's serious. The new push to use the Titles Deprivation Act isn't about making a statement, it's about cutting ties once and for all. If the motion goes through, no amount of streaming deals, best-selling books, or podcast buzz from Meghan will change a thing. It'll be a full reset. No HRH, no Duke of Sussex, just Mr. Harry Windsor living large in Montecito, surrounded by luxury, staff, and the haunting echo of everything he walked away from. And how's Harry taking it? Not well at all. Reports claim he's pacing around his mansion like he's trapped, frustrated, and emotional. He's said to believe the move is unfair, driven by jealousy and public pressure. But the reality hits harder. This isn't gossip, and it's not a PR trick. This is government business backed by real law. When you challenge the very system that built your name, you can't expect the same privileges to stick around. Behind closed doors, his legal team is racing against the clock, searching for any possible loophole to keep at least a piece of his royal protection. But there's no easy escape this time. Parliament isn't reacting on emotion, they're making history.
Yeah, I agree.
So we are in total agreement. They are very dependent on each other.
This moment could rewrite royal history, a turning point like never before. Because if Harry keeps his title after everything that's gone down, people are asking, what's stopping the next royal from doing the same thing? Where's the boundary? Where does the monarchy finally say, that's enough? And while all eyes are on Parliament, Meghan's camp isn't staying silent. Her team is firing back hard, accusing the UK of mistreating her, trying to quiet her voice and judging her unfairly. But this time, the public seems unconvinced. The conversation has shifted. It's no longer about race or personal background. It's about respect, responsibility, and the royal code that's supposed to apply to everyone equally. The royal guidelines are clear as day. They don't separate private life from public duty when royal titles are involved. The statement reads, with the Queen's blessing, the Sussexes will continue to maintain their private patronages and associations, with the understanding that they can't commercialize personal stories and still expect the institution they criticized to reward them. It's direct, and it leaves no room for bending the rules. And let's be real, this wasn't the first warning. Queen Elizabeth had already made it perfectly clear. Step away from royal duties and you give up royal privileges. No HRH, no taxpayer-funded security, and no royal brand to build profit around. Yet Harry and Meghan nodded in agreement, only to sit down days later for that explosive Oprah interview that rocked Buckingham Palace.
Meghan of their royal titles. The New York Post is reporting that locals in the UK say enough is enough, especially after Prince Harry's disastrous BBC interview, which aired.
Since then, it's been one controversy after another, each one louder and messier than the last. Now the House of Lords have stepped in, saying enough. And the timing couldn't be more striking. Just hours after Harry lost his court fight over taxpayer-funded security, that now infamous BBC interview dropped, and the storm only got bigger. Instead of showing a moment of calm or reflection, Harry hit the airwaves again, his voice trembling with emotion, talking about how he still hopes for reconciliation. reconciliation after releasing a memoir that accused his brother of being aggressive, his stepmother of plotting behind the scenes, and his father of turning distant. And then, almost casually, he mentioned not knowing how much time his father might have left. Many people found that deeply unsettling, an odd and heavy comment to make during what was supposed to be a media promotion tour. It left both critics and fans uneasy, wondering if every word he says is part of some bigger plan. It's like every public moment, every interview, every story, even those emotional photos at Princess Diana's grave, feels like a move in a long, dramatic game of strategy that Harry seems determined to win. The noise around stripping Harry and Meghan of their royal titles is now louder than ever. According to reports from the New York Post, people across the UK are saying enough is enough, especially after that uncomfortable BBC interview that had everyone talking. But this time, the UK isn't playing along.
Is planning to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles when he ascends to the throne.
The press has shifted its tone. The public mood has flipped, and even the palace, usually calm and cautious, is quietly allowing Parliament to take full control of the situation. King Charles doesn't need to step in directly. He doesn't have to make any grand declarations. Instead, he's choosing to stand back and let Parliament's decision speak for itself, a royal move that keeps his image spotless while letting the consequences unfold naturally. And here's the real shocker. This all started as a quiet online petition. Just a few thousand names at first, barely making headlines. But now it's a wave. More than 100,000 signatures and rising fast. These aren't online bots or random voices. These are real citizens. People from Sussex, London, Scotland, the same people who once filled the streets for Princess Diana's farewell, who cheered for William and Kate's wedding with pride and hope. They're not upset because Harry left royal life. They're upset because it feels like he keeps dipping back in to take more than he gives. He took the global sympathy, the attention, and the royal spotlight, yet gave nothing genuine in return. No humility, no balance, no honesty, just a non-stop stream of public frustration, all dressed up under California sunshine. Now the big question is hanging in the air. Should Prince Harry and the Duchess of Montecito keep their royal titles, or has that moment passed? If Parliament moves forward with this new proposal, and it's looking more likely every single day.
I just find it very uncomfortable, and I think a huge number of your viewers would agree, that you either respect the system.
Harry won't just lose a fancy title, he'll lose the influence that comes with it. Sure, Hollywood might still pick up the phone for a while, but the prestige will fade fast once the Duke of Sussex label is gone. Those big deals and exclusive offers will start drying up. Because without that royal brand, Harry becomes just another former royal trying to make his way in the spotlight with a memoir and a podcast to his name. And Meghan? She'll go from Duchess to simply a public figure with a few lifestyle ventures and a handful of cancelled projects behind her. That's the real twist in this royal drama. Not a clash with Prince William, not tension with King Charles, but something far bigger, an institutional reset, done quietly yet powerfully. It's a calm but firm message from tradition itself. When you spend years stepping away from your heritage, you can't be shocked when the crown finally closes the doors. If Parliament activates the Titles Deprivation Act, the Duke of Sussex title could vanish overnight. No ceremony, no gentle goodbye, just gone. If Parliament goes through with this move, it'll set a precedent so strong that no royal who walks away could ever use their titles as leverage again. This isn't about spite, it's about principle. It's about drawing that clear line between birthright and responsibility, between what's earned through service and what's lost through public controversy. Let's be real, Harry hasn't exactly stayed quiet. From Oprah to Anderson Cooper, from Netflix documentaries to that explosive 400-page memoir Spare, he didn't just share royal secrets, he poured out the whole pot for the world to see. Every revelation, every family tension turned into prime-time content, and the public's patience eventually wore thin. People felt like he was turning private pain into a commercial product, and now they're demanding the last symbol of that royal tie, his title, to be removed. And you can bet Harry's feeling the pressure now. Sources claim he was completely caught off guard when the House of Lords began seriously debating his status. He reportedly never imagined things would escalate this far. But here's the thing, when you burn every bridge on your way out, you can't expect anyone to come running with a ladder when the smoke gets thick. What's happening now isn't about vengeance, it's about quiet, deliberate action. No fiery royal statements, no dramatic TV appearances, just the slow, steady rhythm of British law at work. Calm, legal, unstoppable. Meanwhile, Meghan isn't sitting back either. Word is she's leaning even harder into her new projects, including that new podcast that sent waves online after she sent out those glossy thank you gift baskets labeled with "From Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex."
Prince Harry and the Duchess of Montecito should lose their official royal titles.
That move didn't go unnoticed, and for critics, it's only adding more weight to the argument that the titles themselves have turned into branding tools rather than symbols of duty. That might have been the breaking point, the move that finally pushed things too far. After everything that's happened, Meghan is still being accused of using a royal title she had agreed to step away from. The late Queen had even asked her not to use it publicly, and there was a reason for that. The HRH isn't just a fancy tag, it represents trust, commitment, and service to the crown. So when Meghan was seen promoting lifestyle projects and branding items with that royal touch, critics saw it as more than just a questionable choice. They saw it as disrespectful to the very system she left behind. Reports suggest Parliament took notice, and that signature using the HRH title could go down as the moment that pushed officials over the edge. Because once you start using royal titles to market products like it's a souvenir shop instead of a royal household, it stops being prestige. It becomes parody. And let's be clear, the British government doesn't do parody, they do protocol. But what makes this situation even more intense is who's allegedly stepping into the shadows of this debate. Prince William himself. According to insiders, he's reached a point where he's done staying silent. After years of keeping his composure and holding the line, sources claim William is quietly supporting the idea of removing Harry and Meghan's remaining HRH titles once and for all when he eventually becomes king. For William, this isn't about sibling rivalry, it's about protecting the reputation and stability of the monarchy. Every time Harry steps forward with another headline-grabbing revelation or emotional interview, it adds another layer of pressure on William's shoulders. It makes his responsibilities more complicated and his role harder to manage, especially as the future monarch expected to project unity and strength. Behind closed doors, palace insiders say William views this as a matter of duty, not revenge. From his perspective, keeping the institution's image intact is essential, and if that means making hard decisions about his own brother, then so be it. William knows he can't just sit back and let the royal legacy be dragged through the California spotlight any longer. Behind palace doors, talk has been growing about a serious plan, one that could finally remove Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's remaining HRH titles for good. And when it comes to King Charles, he's staying quiet, deliberately. No public defense of his youngest son, no emotional statements, no calls for reconciliation. Just silence. He's been criticized in books, accused of bias, and even questioned about his parenting. So at this point, Charles understands that stepping in to protect Harry would only fuel the fire. Instead, he's making a strategic move, stepping back and allowing Parliament to handle the tough part. Let them play the strict role while he maintains a dignified distance.
Plan to finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles. Riley Sullivan.
It's a classic royal maneuver, calm, careful, and calculated. If Parliament moves forward with this title removal, Charles achieves exactly what he needs: peace, order, and a clear message, all without appearing like the father who punished his son. He'll come across as the constitutional monarch who simply respects the will of the people. It's tactical genius, calm, smart, and exactly the kind of control the monarchy thrives on. Meanwhile, public opinion is shifting fast, and it's not in Harry and Meghan's favor. Recent polls show that around 62% of Brits now support removing the couple's remaining titles, with support soaring past 70% among older citizens and traditional royal fans. Even younger groups, once their strongest supporters, are changing their minds. Why the switch? Many people say they feel misled. They watched the Oprah interview expecting truth, not spectacle. They saw the couple talk about privacy, only to see their lives constantly turned into content. People feel like the story of breaking free from royal duty has been turned into a brand instead of a genuine new beginning. Locals in Sussex are speaking out, and their words hit hard. Many say they feel forgotten, disappointed, and used as the backdrop for a celebrity storyline instead of being part of something meaningful. One local didn't hold back, saying, "He's not our Duke, he's just a Netflix actor with a title." It's a harsh statement, but it captures exactly how a lot of people in the region are starting to feel. They're tired of being tied to a media circus that feels more like a PR campaign than royal service. For many, Harry's real misstep wasn't leaving royal life. It was thinking he could walk away from tradition and still keep the benefits that came with it. It's not about distance, it's about respect for the system he was born into. People are saying that you can't turn your back on royal duties, criticize the institution that shaped you, and still expect to hold on to its rewards. That illusion is exactly what Parliament seems ready to end once and for all. And here's the twist that no one saw coming. The shift isn't just happening in the UK anymore, it's spreading across the Atlantic. Andy Warhol once said, "Everyone will be famous for 15 minutes." And it looks like Harry and Meghan might be approaching the end of theirs. The same glossy magazines, talk shows, and Hollywood insiders who once couldn't get enough of the Sussex story are now asking the uncomfortable questions. Even late-night hosts have begun cracking jokes at their expense, and it's becoming clear that the media honeymoon is long over. Industry insiders are whispering that the couple's brand, once seen as fresh and powerful, is losing its spark fast. Those Hollywood executives who once chased royal-themed projects are reportedly stepping back, saying the magic isn't what it used to be. Without those royal titles and without the mystique of the monarchy behind them,
have been bumped down the pecking order when you go to the website.
Harry and Meghan are being seen less as modern royals and more as public figures with fading influence. The foundation of Harry and Meghan's public image was built on two things: royal status and personal storytelling. Take away either of those, and their carefully built empire starts to crumble fast. And here's the turning point: the crown doesn't need them anymore. The royal family is pushing forward stronger than ever. Prince William and Princess Kate are soaring in popularity. Queen Camilla is earning newfound respect, and the focus across the monarchy has returned to what matters most: stability, tradition, and unity. In contrast, Harry and Meghan are now seen as the unpredictable factor, a headline-making chapter the palace has already moved past. If Parliament follows through with its plan, the couple could officially become former royals in every sense of the word. All eyes are now locked in Westminster, where momentum is building by the hour. The petition continues to climb, the debates are heating up, and the legal process is moving like a perfectly tuned engine, steady, deliberate, and unstoppable. And while all this unfolds, reports say Prince Harry is watching from afar, frustrated and overwhelmed, perhaps beginning to understand the cost of trying to turn royal heritage into a modern brand. He once wanted to reshape the monarchy, but now it looks like the monarchy is reshaping him. Even Hollywood insiders didn't see this twist coming. The fallout is spilling across continents, with conversations in Parliament getting intense and emotional. Behind closed doors, heated discussions are erupting over what removing the Sussexes' titles really means, not just for Harry and Meghan, but for the monarchy's legacy in a digital age. This isn't about family disagreements or personal revenge, it's about drawing a line in royal history. Lawmakers argue that royal privileges were never meant to be turned into media ventures or profit-driven platforms. The Titles Deprivation Act, they say, isn't just an outdated rule, it's a vital safeguard meant to protect the honor and credibility of the crown itself. Some members of Parliament are pushing hard, insisting that Harry has shown he's no longer a reliable representative of the institution, and that it's time to make that separation official. Harry's recent BBC interview became another major flashpoint. Not only did it cost him a legal fight over taxpayer-funded security, but it also exposed a mix of family frustrations, emotional comments, and open disregard for the royal protocols that once kept the institution solid. Each time Harry appears on screen, his image seems to shift further, from once being the charming ex-prince people rooted for, to now being seen by critics as unpredictable and impulsive. That's when senior lawmakers started asking tough questions. Is he using his royal title as a protective layer to excuse behavior that wouldn't normally be acceptable? What message does that send to future royals about accountability and respect? Some in Parliament are standing firm, saying royal titles aren't fashion statements or inherited perks. They represent service, discipline, and loyalty to the nation's traditions. One senior MP reportedly said behind closed doors, "If we allow Prince Harry to keep his title while profiting off the institution he distanced himself from, we risk turning the monarchy into a reality show." And that's the very image the British public wants to avoid. The idea of the monarchy becoming entertainment for global audiences has become a serious concern, especially now as public trust is finally stabilizing under the current royal leadership. Recent polls show a clear pattern. Most voters believe protecting the dignity of the royal brand is more important than accommodating individuals who seem focused on fame. Support for removing Harry and Meghan's official recognition is climbing sharply, especially among those who feel the couple have blurred the line between royal duty and self-promotion. Harry's latest media moves, the emotional TV interviews, the candid book, and the back-to-back talk show appearances are no longer being viewed as sincere reflections or necessary honesty. Instead, many now see them as repeated attempts to stay in the public eye, even if it means further damaging his family relationships and the institution that once defined him. For Parliament, this has become about setting a clear precedent, showing that titles come with responsibility, not just privilege. Inside Buckingham Palace, there's a quiet sense of relief mixed with careful optimism. Behind the scenes, the palace is slowly shifting gears, reinforcing protocol, tightening boundaries, and leaving little room for Harry and Meghan to continue shaping their own version of royal influence. Insiders whisper that even William and Kate are quietly supportive of this reset, a chance to restore order, dignity, and focus to an institution that thrives on stability, not spectacle. For the royal family, stability has always been the foundation of their strength, but that's hard to maintain when two unpredictable figures are constantly dominating the global spotlight. With Parliament stepping up and public sentiment leaning towards decisive action, the palace finally sees a moment to reclaim calm from chaos. But the question now is, what happens to Harry's public image after this? Once he was the bold rebel prince, admired for walking away from tradition to carve out his own path. That story worked at first, especially in the early days of his life with Meghan, when people admired their independence and authenticity. But now, that narrative feels tired, and the more Harry clings to his royal title, the more it highlights the contradiction at the heart of his message. Critics argue that he wants the best of both worlds: royal influence without royal duty, privilege without responsibility. That contradiction has started to erode his credibility, and credibility was once his most powerful tool. Losing that doesn't just mean a damaged reputation, it means losing the ability to shape public perception or influence real change. That royal title remains Harry's final link to a legacy he once represented with pride, and without it, he risks being seen as just another celebrity chasing relevance through interviews, personal books, and photo spreads. Media analysts are already warning that if Parliament moves forward and officially removes his titles, the Sussex brand could collapse almost instantly. Without the weight of royal recognition behind him, the allure that once made him stand out could fade fast, leaving behind headlines that feel more nostalgic than newsworthy. If Parliament follows through, Harry and Meghan may no longer be seen as royals with real ties to history, but as ordinary public figures in the entertainment world. And ironically, that shift could actually work in the monarchy's favor. While the royal family moves forward with renewed stability, the couple who once challenged tradition may find themselves blending into the same celebrity landscape they once stood apart from. In the US, the change in tone has already begun. American media, once fascinated by Harry's outspoken nature, is now showing signs of fatigue. Late-night hosts who used to applaud his independence are now cracking jokes about his situation. One well-known host teased, "Lose your title in the UK? No problem. Just grab a plastic crown in Hollywood." The humor may be sharp, but it reflects a wider truth. Audiences today expect authenticity and consistency, two things Harry seems to struggle with as his public story keeps shifting. Even Meghan, who's worked hard to maintain a balance between glamour and relatability, hasn't escaped the growing backlash. Critics say she's blurred the line between personal success and royal influence, pointing to business ventures, lifestyle launches, and brand partnerships that seem to lean heavily on her royal identity. Her continued use of the styling, despite past promises to step away from it, has become a major talking point, one that stirs debate every time her name appears in the headlines. For many, that title has turned into a symbol of contradiction, independence mixed with attachment to a system she claimed to leave behind. Each interview or product launch reignites that discussion, reminding the public how hard it is to fully break free from royal associations once they've shaped your entire story. Back in Parliament, this growing controversy has taken historic weight. What started as a public petition has evolved into a serious national debate about what royal titles should represent in the modern world: loyalty, service, or simply legacy. Lawmakers are now looking back more than a century to the Titles Deprivation Act of 1917, an old law that's suddenly making a dramatic return to the spotlight. Once used to strip royal titles from those who sided against the nation, it's now being reinterpreted as a way to protect the monarchy's integrity and preserve the country's cultural heritage. Supporters say it's long overdue, arguing that allowing Harry to keep his title while distancing himself from royal responsibility creates a dangerous modern precedent, one that could open the door for others to use royal status for personal image or profit. Critics of that possibility warn it could turn royal heritage into little more than a commercial label, blurring the lines between tradition and celebrity. But this debate isn't just about old laws or dusty royal protocols. It's about what the monarchy means in the 21st century. The royal family has always been seen as a symbol of unity, duty, and continuity, something that stands above politics and fame. So when the public watches a prince step outside those traditions while still using the royal name, it raises serious questions about fairness, responsibility, and respect for the institution itself. Observers say this entire saga has grown far bigger than anyone expected. The global reaction has been overwhelming. News outlets around the world are dissecting every new development, every comment, every shift in tone. Some international commentators see this as a necessary moment of reckoning, a reminder that royal status isn't about self-promotion, but service. To truly be considered royal, they argue, means following a code of behavior built on honor, consistency, and accountability. It's about earning the trust of the public, upholding tradition even when it's not easy, and valuing duty over personal ambition. Others see this entire saga as a powerful warning about what happens when celebrity culture collides head-on with centuries of royal tradition. When fame, wealth, and constant media attention crash into the weight of history and duty, the fallout is almost impossible to avoid. One striking example comes from Nigeria, where Harry and Meghan once highlighted a supposed ancestral connection during their travels. But when the government reportedly declined to endorse or formalize their visit, it sent a strong global message that cultural history and heritage aren't tools for image building or personal branding. Even abroad, the takeaway was clear. Royal identity and historical legacy are not props for storytelling or marketing, no matter how carefully they're presented. That's why the debate over removing Harry's title has grown into something far bigger than a British controversy. It's now a worldwide conversation about the boundaries of fame and the responsibilities that come with legacy. The question being asked everywhere is simple yet profound. Where does royal heritage end and personal ambition begin? Across media platforms, from news outlets to podcasts, social feeds to late-night panels, this topic is dominating the global stage. Every interview, every photo op, and every trending meme only adds to the intensity, keeping Harry and Meghan under non-stop scrutiny. The couple now face pressure not just from the British public, but from audiences around the world, all questioning how their story fits into the modern definition of royalty. This is no longer just a family disagreement. It's become a case study in how privilege, publicity, and identity collide in today's fame-driven culture. Experts say the Sussexes are now being pushed to define what they truly stand for, weighing personal freedom and independence against the responsibilities that come with titles rooted in centuries of history. They're standing at a crossroads, trying to balance self-determination with inherited duty, and learning that in the modern era, authenticity carries more weight than status ever could. If Parliament goes through with its plan, Prince Harry could soon face a reality where his once prestigious royal title, a name that once opened doors across continents, becomes little more than a relic of history, a title remembered but no longer recognized with authority or weight. It would mark a dramatic turning point, the moment his dream of independence from royal duty collides with the cold truth of fading influence, relentless public scrutiny, and a shrinking spotlight. Analysts are already bracing for the cultural storm that's about to follow. Expect a wave of commentary, fiery debates on morning shows, trending hashtags like Strip the Royals, hashtag Windsor's Exposed, and hashtag No More Royalty. and endless discussions filling social feeds and podcasts alike. Across Britain, from cozy pubs to Sunday family dinners, people are already talking about what this means for the future of royalty itself. What does it truly mean to be royal in the modern world? Tradition, service, or simply fame? And at the center of it all stands Harry. The big question now is what's next for him? Will he stage a bold comeback and try to reinvent himself completely? Will he step into a brand new identity, letting go of royal heritage altogether? Or will he quietly fade from the global spotlight, accepting that the monarchy and the world may be moving on without him? Each possible move will shape not just his personal legacy, but also how the monarchy adapts in the eyes of a changing generation.
This isn't just about one man's title anymore. It's about legacy, history, and the global perception of the crown. Every decision, every headline, every reaction now feeds into a larger story about what royalty represents in an age of transparency and celebrity culture. When centuries of royal tradition collide with the ambitions of someone determined to write their own story, the impact goes far beyond personal drama. It shakes the world's perception of power, history, and identity. The consequences don't just affect one family, they echo across continents, shaping international opinion, cultural discussions, and the legacy of one of the most recognized institutions on Earth. Right now, history, honor, and ambition are clashing in a high-stakes royal drama, and every move matters. The ripples of this moment are being felt everywhere, from palace corridors to social media feeds, a modern cultural earthquake that refuses to settle. As this chapter of the royal story reaches another turning point, one fact remains impossible to ignore. The battle for legacy isn't over yet. The Sussexes' long struggle with the monarchy, with the media, and with public perception has entered a new and uncertain phase. The question now is whether this is a path toward redemption or a final break from centuries of royal tradition. In today's digital world, where a single post, interview, or viral clip can flip public opinion in seconds, control over the narrative is more fragile than ever. Every headline is magnified, every reaction dissected, and every public move analyzed to the smallest detail. Can Harry rebuild his image and rediscover balance between independence and heritage? Can Meghan redefine her influence without leaning on royal identity? Or are we witnessing the moment when the final ties between them and the monarchy quietly dissolve? These questions now hover over every discussion, fueling endless speculation online and across the media. Only time will tell how it all plays out, whether this becomes a comeback story or a cautionary tale. But one thing's certain, the world will be watching every statement, every appearance, every post, and every interview, breaking it down and debating it in real time. One thing's for sure, in the high-stakes game of royal identity, every single move matters. The board has never been more crowded, and each decision carries massive weight. Every public appearance, every statement, and every emotional moment could shift the balance, reshaping not just Harry and Meghan's future, but the world's perception of the monarchy for generations to come. This isn't just another story about fame or family. It's a clash between personal ambition and centuries of royal tradition. It's the collision of modern celebrity with the unshakable weight of history. A couple once searching for freedom now faces the harsh truth that freedom, when tied to legacy, doesn't come without consequence. The unfolding saga isn't just tabloid talk, it's a reflection of something deeper, the challenge of balancing personal dreams with public duty and private emotions with global attention. The world is watching as this royal drama continues to twist and turn, and each headline reminds us that tradition and modern identity rarely coexist without conflict. And now, we want to hear your take on all this. Do you think the House of Lords will actually go through with removing Harry's titles? What do you think this could mean for the future of the royal family and for the monarchy's image in today's world? If you've been following this roller coaster of royal revelations, make sure to like, subscribe, and share so you don't miss the next update, because this story is far from over. The next chapter could change everything, and trust me, you won't want to miss the next twist in this ever-evolving royal saga.